So it's a Sunday afternoon, maybe it's gloomy and rainy like it is here today, and you're doing some online shopping. Now, I online shop all the time, I love it. But today, while you're online shopping, you find the perfect pair of shoes. Now, as women, if you're a woman watching this, you know we're always looking for the perfect pair of shoes. They're cute, they're stylish, they can go with anything, they look like they're comfortable, they've got great reviews. But then you notice the price tag, and it's $100. You go, I don't know, $100 seems kind of steep to be paying for that. And you pause. But then this little icon pops up and says, 4 payments of $25 instead is available to you. And you go, oh, that seems achievable. I could pay $25. Not a problem. And you're not charging any interest because 25 times 4 is $100. What's the harm in that? Well, today we're going to actually go through what the harm is, because there's a psychological problem that's happening with these programs and a financial problem because people don't understand what the penalties are if you can't pay a $25 payment on those shoes. So we're going to jump into all of that because I believe that these buy now, pay later programs are stopping so many people from actually getting to financial independence. Now that might seem like an extreme viewpoint, but hear me out. I have some good reasoning for this. So if that sounds interesting to you, that's what we're going to get into today. So stick around just for a second. For anybody who's new, welcome. I'm Lisa. I'm a financial advisor. Have been for over 14 years, almost 15 years. And I help people get to financial freedom as quickly as possible. And the buy now, pay later is stopping that from happening. I don't like it. So we are going to address this. So there are hidden dangers when it comes to these buy now, pay later programs. And you might say, well, is one program better than the other? No, they're all awful. They're all awful. And they're showing up everywhere. They're showing up while you're doing online shopping. They're showing up at the grocery store. They're showing up at the big box stores like Walmart and Target. This is not good, okay? Because there is a lot of both psychological things that are wrong with this and financial. So I've said that before, but you can probably tell I'm pretty passionate about this. So one thing that is a hidden danger is this false sense of affordability, right? So let's take that example of the $100 pair of shoes. $100 made you pause and go, can I afford that? Do I want to pay for that? $25 made you go, oh, that's more like it. You're still paying $100, but now it's brought your guard down. And you're like, well, it's now more affordable. I can do 4 payments of $25. What's the harm in that? That's no problem. I can totally do that. It leads you to buying more stuff. More stuff. Okay? And sometimes I do this and I say, I'm one to talk. I buy a lot of stuff. But I'm aware of what I'm buying. I track things. I know how much I pay for stuff. Okay? And when you have these little payments, you forget about them, right? Let's say you're buying something, it's $12 for 4 payments. You forget about it. And then all of a sudden it shows up and you're like, what's that? What is that? What's happening there? Why is there $12? And then you go, oh, that's right. That's that buy now, pay later thing. Multiply that by like 10 different payments. You have a lot that is getting paid for, and you don't even realize it because in your mind that $100 purchase was $25. That is a very dangerous path to go on. And so that leads to the second danger, which is multiple payment traps, meaning you're juggling across all these different platforms and you lose track of how much you're spending. And so if you lose track on what you're spending and you end up overspending, well, now you can't pay for that $25 fee, right? So now late fees start to pile up. The late fees can be extremely high. And from what I can tell, I don't believe that they really walk you through that when you sign up for these. I could be wrong. I've only done this once, right when it came out. I said, what is this? Okay, I'll try it. And it's weird. It does kind of turn that psychological part of your brain to, it's cheaper, which it wasn't cheaper. It's the same price. It just made you feel better. And I can totally see how these late fees could start piling up if you have too many of these kind of subscription fees going on. You know, we've been talking about for years cutting subscriptions, cutting back on subscriptions. By doing these buy now, pay laters, you are just adding subscriptions on. And because there are late fees and possibly you're missing payments because you've got too many of these going on, it could start to impact your credit, which is a huge component of buying a house, getting good interest rates, getting decent rates on credit cards. All of that can really add up. And now some of these buy now, pay later firms are reporting to the credit bureaus. So if you have too many of these outstanding things, this could hurt your credit even if you're paying it on time, because you're seeing this as short-term debt. That's the problem, is that they don't really show it as short-term debt. You know, people are like, oh, they're just payment plans. No, you are accumulating short-term debt. You are. And having debt in general impedes your ability to get to financial freedom. It does. You know, people say, oh, there's good debt and there's bad debt. I get, you know, home ownership, most people are going to have a mortgage. I tend to be of the belief getting rid of all debt is the goal. But okay, you have a home mortgage, that could be good debt, okay? But this stuff, by accumulating all these little debts, that's not good debt. It's just not. And it's not like you're charging it and paying it off right away. You have these like extended payments on it. It's just really a problem. The fourth danger that I can really see on this is the behavioral effect that this happens. So, like I said, it normalizes debt on things that really we should be purchasing outright, like clothes. People are having this on takeout food. People are having this on, I mean, it's just unbelievable to me what people are utilizing this buy now, pay later for. And it's so dangerous. And you know who's really dangerous for? The young people in this country. I don't see a lot of 50-year-olds doing this buy now, pay later. Maybe they are, I don't know. But the young people don't know how to manage money yet. They don't. This is part of growing up. Some people never know how to manage money, right? But the young people really don't understand this. They don't have that psychological connection to money yet. They're just starting to make it. They just don't understand it. They haven't gone through experiences like 2008, 2020. They haven't gone through that necessarily when it comes to making money, spending money, being worried about money as much. And so these buy now, pay later programs, in my opinion, really target that young generation. And you know, this young generation already has a hard time, is going to have challenges, I guess I should say, for a lot of things. Buying a home, affordability, even rents skyrocketing. How much are we throwing at this younger generation and just making it worse with these horrible programs that is getting them into trouble? You know, it used to be credit card debt was the problem. Now we've got credit card debt and this buy now, pay later issue. It's just, it's not good for the young people. It really isn't. It just really bothers me. So how does this really hurt your financial journey, or getting to financial independence, I should say? You know, you're delayed spending pain in this case. So you're also delaying your freedom, right? You're basically saying the $100 is too difficult for me to pay, but these $25 payments are affordable. So I'm pushing out that pain. I'm taking away the difficult part of spending $100. But you're also pushing off the ability to understand how to manage your money. And I hate to say, you are ruining that muscle that you should be building, saying, $100 is just not, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It by not building that muscle of being able to constrain yourself from buying something that you really don't need. I mean, if I bought another pair of shoes, my husband would be like, what are you doing? You have all these shoes out here you don't even wear, right? And especially since I work from home now, I don't even wear, but I should probably get rid of a bunch of them because I haven't bought a pair of shoes in a long time. It's like for running shoes. But essentially, we are not building that muscle to say, no, I am not purchasing that. I'm not compromising my financial future for this purchase because it's too easy to purchase it. And so every installment of that $25 is $25 not going to savings, not going to investing, not going to an emergency fund, not going to a down payment for a home. And there's that saying, death by 1,000 cuts. This is what's happening, is individually small, payments are building up and become a huge problem. And so let's say you're spending $300 a month on these buy now, pay later things. That is money that could have been going to a Roth, to a savings account, to all that stuff, and could be growing. And that could be $30,000 10 years from now, just by not doing this. But because we've made it so easy to do it, we purchase things we shouldn't be purchasing. That's why it's hurting your financial freedom. Like I said, and also it gets you too comfortable with debt. There's just better ways to do this. So one way to do this is to say, look, I'm going to save first and buy later. So if you're looking at that $100 pair of shoes, you might go through your budget and say, what else can I not purchase to purchase that? What can I save so that I have the money to purchase that? That's okay. You're allowed to do that. That is intentional spending. You could also create a splurge fund, meaning that you have this fund, meaning you have some cash that is meant for fun spending. You spend that money, there's no more money in there, you don't get any more fun spending. That's just the way it works. That is being proactive and understanding your budget. And proactive planning helps you know how much you're spending, helps you have awareness of what's going on. This buy now, pay later is just adding to the zombie-like way that we handle our money. And that's why I get so upset about it, because it's too easy not to look at our credit cards. It's too easy not to look at our spending. You just put it on the card, automatic payments. We've gotten too detached from our money and from our spending habits. That's why we're having such a problem getting into the green. And this is the problem. And when we make things automatic, like the buy now, pay later stuff, and I don't have to have the pain of paying for it right now, it basically can cause problems. The only time that I say that you should set up automatic things are like automatic saving into a certain account, automatic contributions to maybe an investment account, obviously automatic mortgage payments, those kind of things, but not automatic spending. It's just something that is crazy. And instead of chopping your money into 4 installments, imagine planting it into 4 different investments and watch how that would grow, right? That's what we need to consider. So essentially, something you can do if you've hit this wall with the buy now, pay later, or somebody, maybe one of your kids, something like that, check and see if you're using buy now, pay later. Sometimes people don't even realize they're using it. Also, calculate how much you're spending on buy now, pay laters, okay? And I know you're going to say, well, it's the same as if I spent the $100. Yes, but you made it too easy for yourself. So really go through your credit card statement and say, would I have purchased that if I had to pay for it all at once? If the answer is no, then that goes on to your spending. Start sinking funds and cash into a splurge fund so that we're not doing this. We're not creating debt for ourselves to pay for something. And then I would, this is my suggestion, always avoid the buy now, pay later. Always. Just bypass it. Purchase it if you're going to purchase it. Be a big boy or girl. Have your big boy panties on or big girl panties on and pay for it. Don't make yourself feel better. That is just hurting you in the long run. You know, sometimes you got to go through some pain to get the growth that you're looking for. So I know I came off very angry in this video, and I am a little angry about these programs. I have just seen this causing so many problems. And the buy now, pay later feels good in the moment, but it really messes with that financial freedom. And I guarantee you financial freedom is better in the long run. It just is. So what are you going to choose? Feeling good now or really taking care of yourself and feeling great in the future? That's the bottom line. So have you fallen into this buy now, pay later trap? If you have, I would still love to hear what your journey's been like. You know, reach out. Tell me what's going on. And hopefully we can get you out of that trap and get you back onto that journey to financial freedom. So until next time, take care, stay strong out there, and we will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.